I'm just going to bounce through some slides here real quick so you guys get a little bit of an actual picture of what we did. And I'm not going to get much into the technical because there's only about 10 of you in here that's going to make you be like, woo! And the rest of you are going to be like, what? So real quick here, this first slide is the well before we went down. This is the preconditions of the well. That water's sitting at about 16 feet, and about a foot below the water surface is where the trash begins. You want to roll on to the next slide? So just so you guys know, we do things in a very safe manner, maybe even more overkill than we need to, but you don't want to lose a person in a well. There's so many stories about that in children's books. You got to learn that lesson real early in life. We set up here, and you can go ahead and roll to the next one. And you can see as we're getting ready to go down, like everybody's strapped in, set up, harnessed in. And the way we have to clean this well is literally by going in the well. You pump out the water, and then you send a person down on a ladder with a bucket and, well, an ice scoop or a little tiny shovel. And they start cleaning, and they start taking out one bucket at a time, over and over and over. It's a dirty, nasty job. Jason Carpenter and Kyle Becker were our two well rats, and they spent the majority of time down there. You can clap for them. That's the dirty, nasty job this trip. They both were, in the muck of it. Go ahead and roll to the next one. So this is some of the stuff we started pulling out. Go ahead and hit the next one too. We get an aerial shot of that. So you've got everything from bricks, sticks, rocks, blocks. You got any more rhymes I can throw in there? Bottles. Oh, that doesn't rhyme. I was trying to, Parker got 3 in. I thought I could beat it. No. Socks. Did we find a sock? Yeah, we got socks. So there was all sorts of things in there, but mostly in a lot of glass. That's what the majority of what was in there was glass or bricks. And so as you can imagine, like glass, it's your most ideal thing to have in your water source, great stuff. Go ahead and roll on to our next one here. That's what that well looked like when we were done, guys. So that's a little over 25 foot deep. The sides are scrubbed down, cleaned, sanitized. It's absolutely a fabulous well. As we got down in there, we were all kind of like, wow, this was a really well-built well. We could have really been working with this for years in the past. Nobody wants to get in there and clean that out. So this was a really productive trip in that sense. Go ahead and roll to the next one here. That's JC down there in the bottom. Another thing that we got out of this well is, and I'm hoping it continues to increase, but something that people don't know about wells is when you use a well, if it's a good well, it actually increases in production. As the groundwater starts to work its way, it creates its own channels. So even from the first day when we finished cleaning that well and what we were producing, which was about 100 gallons for the course of the day, 2 days later, by the time we left, we'd bumped up to about 150. So I just really feel like the Lord is just blessing that production and that work as it just continues to grow and increase, meeting that need of this garden. Go ahead and hit the next one here. Just a quick aerial shot of everybody getting around as we're just making sure that everything's going well. Hit the next one. Now we're getting a little bit into the system. So here's one of our water towers, and this is the solar panel that James actually rigged up with his crew and got set up on that tower in order to start collecting sun to power everything, because this is a completely off-grid system. It allows, no matter what the system of this world brings about, whether they shut off electricity, power, water, it doesn't matter. This can be completely sustained within even the people that we have there as they've gained the knowledge in how to maintain and work on this. Hit the next one, it's going to be a similar thing. Get that one more there. By the way, that campus is gorgeous. This is the next solar panel, and that's on top of our composting station. This has really been a love of our garden program down there. Antonio has fallen in love with compost. He thinks it's going to change the world. And I don't disagree, but in particular, his world in that area, this is something that he has discovered is going to be revolutionary to the farmers and the local people down there. It's really become one of his passions. I love talking about it because anytime one of our cooperatives develops a passion for something in and of themselves, like their motivation and their enthusiasm to make it successful just goes through the roof. Like there's nothing we can teach him about compost that's going to encourage him more than what he already does. Like we'll teach him new little techniques and stuff, but he is driving forward like a freight train. He thinks this is going to change the lives of those around him. And it's a beautiful thing to see. But on top of it is our little solar panel, second solar panel there, and that actually powers the little pump that runs into the garden. So there's a water catchment system that comes out of the well into a cistern up by the garden, and then it pumps out of that into their drip irrigation system to help maximize the use of that water. Go ahead and hit the next one here. Okay, now I'm going to leave most of the description of this to James because I don't want to steal his thunder over here. But I always have to cry when I talk in front of you guys. It's one of my rules. This is the picture I'm going to not do it during. This is what Parker was describing. That's Kenya on the left right there. That's Amilcar. They're both working on this with James. And like I said, I'm not going to steal his thunder, but it was absolutely beautiful to see them grow through this experience. It was a huge deal, guys. Go ahead and go to the next one. All right, now that's our well with the pipe sticking out. It's not exactly the most exciting picture, but the fact that pipe's sticking out of there after we've been working on this property and around this property for the last 10 years, this is a huge deal to see that source of water be reclaimed. Because for years, we even were like, this is a mess. Like, we don't want to deal with this. There's too many risks involved. There's just, the need hadn't grown to the point where it's like we had to deal with this. But at this point, the need was there. Like the need had exceeded, the garden had grown. Antonio's enthusiasm with Kenya helping him had grown so much that like the need was no longer capable of being set aside. And we had to meet it. So that well is just the meeting of that need for those programs that are attached to those people and that growth. A well in and of itself is nothing, guys. Like we've got to remember that. I mean, we've lived without it for lots of years. The reason it's had to be done now is because the people that are attached are growing. Go ahead and roll on to the next one here. That's that next pump system in the cistern. We're able to fill that tank in about 2 days currently, and as that well continues to grow in its production, it might even get down to 1. But it's not a small tank, guys. I can't look in it. Like we're talking up here. Like this isn't little. Go ahead and roll on to the next one here. And I just want to throw a couple quick shots here. This is of their splitting system going into the garden. And then our next one here, just a quick picture of the drip irrigation system that Antonio's set up to show what this well is really for, guys. This is to supply that garden that is being a demonstration garden, to show the people around there that there's another way. There's another way to grow in an area that truly, for years, they were like, nothing will grow here. That was the thing. When we got this land, all the neighbors were like, you can grow nothing on this land. It is dead. And the first time that anything grew on it, they were like, it's a miracle. Like, it's impossible. And this is just a sign of that growth that continues to happen. Hit me one more here because this next one's pretty awesome. I want to just finish out here real quick with something that we got to cap off our trip with. With Greg down there and Skylar and other people, one of the big driving motivations of this trip was to really create a one-team effort. Where all of our different regional teams and the people that have been volunteering with our ministry and stuff could come together and focus on one goal that we could accomplish with efficiency and with limited amount of resources and just drive it home with the use of knowledge, teaching, and education. And in that, we got to open that up to our other regions as well. So this is actually a photo of us in a meeting where all of us are around this big U table. We're set up in different stations, and on that thing, I know you can't see it, but those are our cooperatives from all our different regions. So we got to go through the same thing I'm talking to you about now, with how this well happened, worked, how we got to work together, meeting that need, and share it with our cooperatives from our other regions, and kind of give them another vision for the future and how a lot of our things are going to work together in this globalized world where truly we are the biggest resource that we have, and it's not just us. Like, they're the resource as well. Like, they participate alongside us, not just in their region, but in our other regions. And this was just a revolutionary moment, I think, for me and honestly for our ministry, for everybody that was there. Like, this was a moment that we were like, we get to see a vision for a kingdom that's being created under one head, under God, and just the fruition of that education manifesting in that moment.